when I ran for president, I made many promises. They are in a manifesto. It was written in a manifesto. And after the elections, one bishop said, "We know you have made all these promises, and we know they are impossible. It will not be possible to keep all these promises. Don't push yourself too hard. We understand politics. Sometimes you make promises which you have no intention of keeping, just to get votes." And I don't take offense with that bishop. It's been the normal course of things. But the commitments I made to the people of this nation were not for purposes of winning the election. They were for purposes of transforming our nation. And I have every intention to make sure that I keep every commitment I made. Why? Because I believe in God and I believe in this great nation called Kenya. Yes. And today I can stand before the people of Kenya and say we have made huge progress. We have made huge progress. Not just in agriculture. In our health, I was with the Minister for Health and his team day before yesterday to look at how far we've come. I'll be having a meeting with the Ministry of Agriculture after this prayer breakfast, the Ministry of Health after this prayer breakfast, because we have made strides. We have made strides in our education. Progress we thank God for. Teachers have been hired. Curriculum has been changed. Funding model has been changed. Our universities that were struggling are in a better place. We have made progress. In our savings, I remembered very well when the Bible says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And I remember going to one of the countries I don't want to mention to negotiate about our obligations. And when I sat with the president, and he was very candid, asking me, why don't you do this? Why don't you do the other? And it came to my mind that the Bible teaches us that a good man saves and leaves an inheritance. Today, we have built our own savings. In 3 years, we have doubled what we saved in 60 years. Yes. Country. You know, I once asked a journalist, senior journalist friend of mine, why it is very rare to find a headline talking about some success. That always in the headline is about negative things, things that have gone wrong, something that has happened that is wrong. This journalist told me that, you see, bad news sells. Good news doesn't sell. Oh. So, when you read the headlines, just know that there are people who are doing their business. And for their business to succeed, they must write about bad news, because that's how it sells. The bad news you read in the headline is not the whole story. It is the story to sell the newspapers. You will not see the good news in the headlines. And I have no doubt in my mind that it doesn't matter how many headlines are written that Kenya is going in the wrong direction. This country will never go in the wrong direction. This nation will never go in the wrong direction. It doesn't matter how many headlines say we are a failed state. Kenya is not and will never be a failed state. Because Deuteronomy tells us that we will never be the tail, we will always be the head. And so, I am persuaded beyond any reasonable doubt that this, our country, is a great nation. We have the duty and responsibility to make it great. And we will. And we shall. I remember we just had the Africa Forward Summit, the French Africa Summit. And among the big conversation that I was pushing is for us as Africans to believe in ourselves and to stop the dependency thing, that we believe that others owe us. Nobody owes us anything. You know? And I was explaining, for example, statistics, numbers tell us we have $4 trillion of savings in our pension funds, in our insurance companies, and in many other places. We haven't been able to mobilize these $4 trillion to work for us. And as a result, we are stuck with our own development because we are going to look for the savings of others to come and run our development. And we have to think outside the box. And I can proudly stand on this podium that we have mobilized our own resources to drive some of the fundamental development that we have undertaken in the last 3 years. Our own resources. We haven't borrowed from IMF, we haven't borrowed from the World Bank. We have driven our housing program. For example, a project that is now 600 billion with our own money. Yes, we have mobilized our own money. We are building Talanda City, not with borrowed money, with our own money.